Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here at my next Legend of Korra news update video. Got some reasonably big pieces of news to talk about. I suppose the fact that I'm doing a video after having not done an update in a while tells you that something reasonably big is broken. But yeah, I'm just going to focus on two pieces of news. There's a lot of other stuff I could talk about, but some of it is just so minor there's no real point mentioning it. So, first up, we have the big one. That would be that thanks to Mike DiMartino, obviously, co-creator of Avatar and Korra, on Tumblr, he posted an update basically saying that Book 3 change production is complete. They have the show in the bag now. It's basically just ready to air. But he finished the post by saying he doesn't know anything about the release date, which is to be expected, and I think a lot of fans realise that now. A lot of fans sometimes get angry at Mike and Brian for not giving us updates, but I think this time round, everyone realises that it's all on Nickelodeon now. They have to decide when they're going to air it, and it's all on them, basically, now that the show is complete production. All 13 episodes are made, animated, sound and stuff like that is done. Just waiting for Nickelodeon to air it. Now, this is a potential problem in that everyone expects all of the big updates to come out. So the release date, trailer, and possible episode premiere, and just in general information about Book 3, because we know very little. We don't know any of the new characters, don't know any of the voice actors, actresses working on the show, really. We don't know that much about, where it's actually going to take place, even though we suspect a lot of places. It says a lot that our biggest pieces of information about Book 3 came immediately after Book 2 and a leaked trailer from the Netherlands. So we know very little about this. So we are a month and a half away from San Diego Comic-Con, which we will get information from there. It's just about if Nick is going to wait that long to give us that information, when realistically they could be giving us it now. Now, I think everyone understands that Nickelodeon obviously have a lot of other shows that are on their channel. We expect a little bit more in terms of the Korra fandom, because Korra is their best rated show. That's just a fact. Korra draws in an audience that doesn't usually go to Nickelodeon, just because it is so much better than basically every other show they have. So realistically, they should post some update about it. I think it says a lot that Nickelodeon hasn't mentioned this at all. They haven't posted news themselves that Book 3 change production is complete. In fact, I don't believe Nickelodeon on Twitter or Facebook have actually mentioned full stop that Book 3 change is even happening, because they haven't really posted anything since Book 2 ended. So that's a problem as well. Now, I'm going to stop talking about Nickelodeon here simply because myself and Greg on the podcast, episode 94, I think, yeah, it was 94 last Sunday. Listen to that episode of the podcast and you'll hear myself and Greg talk for about 40-45 minutes about the good, the bad, and how Nickelodeon can improve their relationships with the fans and how they treat Korra. We didn't just bash Nickelodeon. We really just got into it and analysed what Nick do that's good, because they do just do some things that's good for the fandom, but mostly it's the stuff that they do bad and what they can do to improve. So definitely check that out if you're kind of unsure about some of the stuff with Nickelodeon. But either way, it's a good sign. The waiting is over. At least we know now that the show is complete. With Book 2, we had no idea when it was actually complete, because obviously there's the whole issue with the animation studios. So this time around, Studio Mir is doing it all. It's done well in advance, and they can continue work on Book 4, and hopefully Book 4, the wait won't be as long as even this wait has been. So things in terms of scheduling on the production side of things seem to be going very well. Problem is just that I do not expect Nickelodeon to actually give us any information before Comic-Con. I think that they have really just gone almost the opposite way. Instead of Comic-Con just being this thing that happens to be there and then they happen to put on a good show and things are just normal the rest of the year, it seems like Nickelodeon just don't mention the show all year round because they're going to do something at Comic-Con. I think that's a bad way to look at it. To me, Comic-Con should just be the big news as opposed to the news. But yeah, that's good. Book 3 change is done. Next piece of news is, again, pretty exciting. Even if the show scheduling is all over the place, what's always on schedule is Dark Horse and the comics and the books and stuff like that, the releases. We know dates for basically every book for the next couple of months, and that's good. Just recently, we got some preview pages for the Book 2 Spirits art book. This is obviously the art of the animated series. And second book for Korra, after the Book 1 Air art book. We now have 4 preview pages from very early on in the book. They're related to episode 1, Rebel Spirit, and episode 2, The Southern Lights. There's some pretty interesting images, actually. I'm going to show you the 4 preview pages now, actually, and then I'll talk about them. So there you go. They're the 4 preview pages. Some pretty interesting stuff. I'm not going to go too in depth just because it is an art book. I'll talk about it more when I get the book and review it here on my channel, which I will do, and on the side and stuff like that. But yeah, the most interesting thing for me at least was definitely the kind of close-up view on the statues of some of the other avatars, because even though we've got a lot more kind of visuals of them, obviously through some of the stuff that happened last time round with us seeing the avatars as they were kind of destroyed towards the end of book 2, but we never got like a complete focus on some of those avatars that we don't know, primarily the ones before Avatar Yang Chen. We know obviously the one before that, everyone calls him Avatar Jafar because he looks like Jafar from Aladdin. But a lot of the ones after that, people are very unsure about like who they are. And these statues, albeit they are statues, there's not much detail to them really. They do give us a good idea about just some okay, so this is who the Earth Avatar was before this, and so on. Gives us a good idea of like ratios in terms of how many were male, how many were female, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. The images aren't like massive in terms of they're not full size, and you can't read everything on the pages. But the one on the page about the Water Tribe banquet does give some interesting details about the Southern Water Tribe political situation, that and just in terms of who's the ruler and who's not, and that it just confirmed that the whole thing about the leader in the north is the leader of the north and the south, and then it changed obviously because of the independence that happened in book 2. But overall, interesting. Definitely the more interesting parts of that book are going to be beginnings, just to see the concept art about that Studio Mir different animation style they used for the beginnings episodes, in addition to stuff like A New Spiritual Age, which was nominated and actually won an award for its art design. So I hope A New Spiritual Age gets a big section in this book, because so much happens in that with the regards to, we get to see so many different sides of the spirit world and all of this stuff, so that should be a very good section in the book. In fact, the whole section, from episode 7 onwards should be excellent in the book. I'm really excited to see all of that stuff, concept art for Avatar 1 and stuff like that. But yeah, the book is coming out in September. It's September 5th is the comic book store release date, and then September 18th is the release date in normal bookstores. I'm still surprised that not many people have caught on to the fact that, when you get a release date from Amazon or something like that, if you actually look it up on a calendar, it's always a Tuesday. And if you know anything about comic book stores, they never release books on Tuesday. They always come in on Wednesday. So it always works out that if you get a release date from Amazon, go back 13 days and you'll find when the comic book store release date is, because they always get it first. So there's that. So all I'll say now is just that there will be a podcast on Sunday. It's going to be episode 95 of the Avatar Online podcast. I'm not sure who's going to be on yet, just because it changes week to week, depending on who is busy and who's not. But more than likely it'll be myself, Troy, Greg, and possibly Kelly. I think she should be back, maybe. But either way, we're going to talk about obviously the news I talked about today. But we're also, in terms of a discussion topic, going to talk about the role of parents in Avatar and Korra. Obviously, I think it's Father's Day in America. I'm not sure about over here. But it's Father's Day in America on Sunday. And yeah, we're going to kind of celebrate that in some ways by doing this topic, the role of parents in Avatar. And this is going to be stuff like, obviously, the role of Ozai, Ursa, and I suppose also Iroh, even though he's Zuko's uncle, he is very much a parental figure to Zuko. Their role on his life, I suppose Azula will be included in that too, the role that they had on her. Stuff like the role of Yukon and Yukon's wife on Noatak and Tarlok. And even some of the lesser known ones that you wouldn't really think of that would be discussed here, such as Aang and the fact that the air nomads don't get to know their parents ever. We'll discuss that as a concept, and some of the other ones as well, Sokka and Katara, Hakoda and Kaya. And then obviously Korra as well, the first Avatar that we've met, and also met their parents with Tonraq and Senna, and how their life with Korra is and stuff like that. So it should be a fun discussion topic. So definitely check that out. It's going to be released on Sunday when we record it. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, and bye.